Hey, shalom, shalom. I want to start out first and foremost by saying double honors to the apostles of elders, bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. To the scattered elect, scattered across the four corners of the earth, among the heathen nations and those that look like the heathens nations, and known as the speckled birds. And to the Akim and Akwaf listening and learning, I say Shalom. I am disciple of Parium, a follower of Great Millstone, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity. Knowing that this be the day of the Day of Atonement, I want to start off first by saying anointing prayer. Yabarak Yahweh, Wayashamarka, Ya'ar, Yahweh Panyawa, Ayaka, Wayachanka, Yasha'a, Yahweh, Panyawa, Ayaka, Wayasham, Laka, Shalom. All right. So this lesson is going to go into Isaiah 4:1. This is something that I've been wanting to do. It's been on my mind. Kind of, the Lord's having to, where I'll be able to work on this lesson. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get Isaiah 4:1. Let's lock in. Go ahead and change this real quick. Just bear with me for a second. So this is called a remnant prepared. Okay, first and foremost, this is not, your rap video or you're gonna get all these women. It's not what it means, and I will go into that later on. Okay, so and it says, Isaiah 4:1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach. Okay, so this is a foretelling of great sorrow in that day, because there's so much more women than there are men that they're going to want peace and safety and protection. And that's going to come first and foremost from a man of the Lord who's understanding in the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay, and again, the Lord's going to deal with man in an austere spirit. And that word austere, when you get the etymology, goes into the harsh, severe, grim, fierce, strict, severe, harsh, cruel manner. A person who's going to be thinking in that way, because they're focused, just like a soldier is. They're separate. All right. So next precept I want to get is Isaiah 3:12, and it reads, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead, they cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths." And that's what you see today. Women rule over men, over a household. It's backwards. Okay. So we'll stay in that same chapter, Isaiah 3. Go down to verse 24. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of a well set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girdle of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Okay. You go down to verse 26. Actually, I'll read 25. It says, "Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground." This is leading up to Isaiah 4:1. What's going to happen? In Jacob's trouble. You're going to have 2/3 just of Israel was going to fall. Okay. How much more of the nations? And it's right there. It says 2/3 being destroyed, pursuant to Zechariah 13:8. We don't have to get it, but that's what talk about the 2/3 right there. Next precept I want to get is Sirach 26 and 13. And it's, all right, so Proverbs 26:13 says, "The grace of thy wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones." Okay, so we're not gonna just take any woman in, especially a woman that has kids. This is gonna be another mouth to fill, a burden. Looking for a gracious woman who exhibits discretion. The wife or concubine is to be a pillar of rest, especially in hard times. All right, and I just want to pull that word discretion real quick. So. All right, that word discretion is the ability to perceive and understand, moral discernment. Okay, so not having these little hood wives and all that stuff. No, that time's to be done, especially in those days. Okay, sorry. All right, so let's go to Sirach 26 and 26. And it reads, "A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all, but she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all." All right, so this is the pride of women. Their pride's gonna wane. It's gonna fade away. Okay, let's go to Job. Chapter 2, verse 10. Okay, but he said unto her, "Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh." This is Job speaking to his wife. Okay, because she was one of the things of this world. She want to give up everything. It says, "What shall we receive good at the hand of God, of Yahweh, and shall we not receive evil?" Yeah, because Job was going through afflictions at that time. Okay, and she's saying, "Well, maybe you did something." And Job's telling her, "You received both." And finishing up the verse, and all this did not Job sin with his lips, because he was being tested by Satan, and Yahweh allowed Satan to do this testing. Okay, Satan came up to the council. All right, so that dispels your whole, Satan being, cast down, like Yahweh didn't have control of the heavens. It's fucking madness. All right. Anyways, women believed when Job was prospering, but as soon as the Lord allowed Satan to test him, she believed not, thus becoming foolish and fickle. Okay. This is Job chapter 39 and verse 17. And it reads, "Because Yahweh hath deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her wisdom." Right? And there's no wisdom using, they're using discernment as men tend to use discernment more, because we're the protectors ordained by Yahweh. Okay. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 15, and it reads, "That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and Yahweh requireth that which is past." Okay, now verse 16, "And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there." Now, this is twofold. Okay, what will happen again. The Lord requires that which is past, especially what was done to by Edom. All right, and we'll get that later on. So essentially, verse 16, and that's going into under the sun. He's here on earth, where we dwell. You have hellish conditions, you have heavenly conditions. Okay, there's iniquity here, which is sin stacked upon sin. So this whole notion of there being a separate place, that's BS, man. Okay. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right. And so, yeah, that's coming, is essentially, these wicked, Edomites are they're getting rid of, of the food storehouses, and prices of food is coming up. So the Lord's going to require, basically everything that the wickedness that they're doing, he's going to require their blood. Okay. So let's go to 2 Kings 6 and Slacky. And verse 28. So 2 Kings 6 and 28. It says, and the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, the woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today, and that we will eat my son tomorrow. So, this is, during the time of the famine, during King Jeroboam of Israel and Ben-Hadad of Syria. Okay, so there's a siege right there, and it was so bad they were fucking resorting to eating their children. And if what was then is now, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, careless women, man. All right, so let's go to Isaiah 55 and 11. So shall my sword be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and I shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Okay? So this sword is coming out of Yahweh's mouth. These things will come to pass, such as the spirit of prophecy, spoken of in Revelations 19 and 10. The spirit of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy, okay? And these words should not come back to him void. Okay? Empty. They should not come back. Let's go to Ezekiel 3. Let's see. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. Verse 2. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat the roll. Okay? So you got to eat this whole roll. You got, even though this is an unpopular subject, especially, I can have ribs, let it be, That's how it's, we're speaking out truth to knowledge of the scriptures, and be not ashamed to speak it out. Okay? And I speak of myself first and foremost. Let's go to Ezekiel 3 and 18. And when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him no warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Okay? And this is a scripture, of the consequences of not warning Israel. So you got to speak and warn Israel, or this is what the Lord requires. Especially, you see your brother or sister in this truth doing wrong. You got to let them know. Okay. Let's go to Isaiah 13 and 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Okay? And that's going to be what a righteous man's worth is going to be. And these women are going to be, trying to find that, because it's going to be so bad in those days. Okay? Again, this is not, I got all these women, it's a rap video. No. All right? Stop. Go into this, pull these words out, and pull the meat off the bone. All right, Isaiah 32 and 2. And it reads, And a man should be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Okay, and that that's that protection. The ironies of life. Let me see this, Ecclesiastes 10:8. And that reads, "He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh a hedge, a serpent shall bite him." All right, and we are that hedge of protection, as the head of our house, as men. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 6:12. And all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. All right. So yeah, there's some brothers today. I know, we all know one brother, but that has, they can have multiple women, and the Lord made them deal and be able to do so. And that, then that's their lot. That's a beautiful thing. However, it's not always expedient, especially for us to have ribs. Okay, so don't just go out and trying to look and try to get a girl. If the Lord lets it be, then that's that's your pa. But again, it's not always expedient. Okay, especially in this Western society, you know how it is. All right. And that word expedient goes to the word sinfero, all right? And what do you think that sounds like? It sounds like a symphony, things in accord that resonate together. So only the Lord allows such a harmonious agreement, okay? Let's go to 2 Ezra 14:4. All right, so this is 2 Ezra 14:4. "And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt and brought him up to the mouth of where I held him by me a long season." Okay. Hold on. So, let's see. It's lucky. I think I got the wrong scripture. Just bear with me for a second. Oh, I meant 2 Ezra 14 and 14. So that's a mistype on my part. So it's lucky. Just go down a little bit. "Let go of the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, and put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and hast thee flee from these times." Because we're gonna have to flee from those times, okay? And you gotta put off the weak nature. You gotta be that austere man, okay? So with that, I want to go ahead and play this video. See if I can figure out how to do this. Salaki. Let me start that over. And I'm gonna raise this up, and I'm gonna leave you with this.
Find you somebody that you semi-like and then duck the off. You see that part right there where she says it's getting real? It is. For women. A man is typically going to need less protection than a woman will, seeing as how we're going into the era where the value of the dollar is dropping and people are losing their jobs. Protection is going to become the highest commodity. I understand what she's saying. The oppressor has put in our way plenty of obstacles that stop us from being with one another because our biological attractions to one another have been thwarted. Women don't necessarily need men because they can get handouts from the government and or they can just work for themselves. Men don't necessarily need women because we've always been able to do all the other shit that women can provide aside from sex. Only problem with this is the table is about to tilt in the men's favor. Women look for provision and protection, but provision ain't gonna matter in a minute. Protection will. Men want women to cook, clean, be submissive, and give them sex, but in the time of calamity, none of that shit's gonna matter. The only thing that matters when chaos erupts is safety, and men ain't looking for female protection. So I hope the end of this video when she said find somebody that you kind of like and duck the fuck off, she was talking to women. Because you ain't gonna be shit to us but a burden unless we actually love you. When I'm faced with life and death, no amount of vagina thrown at me gonna matter. And you better submit to everything I say, otherwise you gonna get both of us killed. And to just kind of like you ain't good enough for me to put my life on the line. You better be something I'm willing to die for. Sharpen your archery skills and get your shooting and your canines together, ladies, because all that talk about you being strong and independent, well, your chicken's finna come home to roost.
And so with that, I pray that this lesson was edifying. And, Shalom, Abba Kwam Yashala.